I am here today to encourage your hearts individually and collectively. I pray that this Advent word will help somebody, lighten the load for someone, help someone work for justice without ceasing, encourage us to be more patient with friends and adversaries, grant someone long overdue forgiveness. I'm learning these things, you see. Fleeing a false prophet with all their demon-like behavior and talking to the very pits of hell, and that something good will happen for somebody in this sacred place today. I pray that this Advent word will inspire you and I to become sturdy bridges over troubled waters for our families, for our friends, and for thousands of people who need families and friends. Amen. The sermon title for our time of meditation is a simple one: the Advent Agenda. I think that we know what the world's Christmas agenda is, but in these economic times, a more healing way of being beckons than just spending money and waiting on Christmas morning. The church has opportunity to encourage the world to reconsider the Advent agenda. I believe that I am in a place where Jesus has come so strongly in our hearts and caused you and I to know beyond a shadow of a doubt that there will be a second coming, even when we do not know the hour of the coming. Yet we believe and are waiting for that which we have not seen. The second coming beckons, keeps us up at night, prepares us to labor in the vineyard. I honestly and sincerely believe that Jesus has come into our hearts so powerfully that you and I believe that a second coming in glory will usher in God's kingdom in all its fullness. Even as we work for that which has not yet been accomplished. This is why these doors fling open, because we expect something to happen that has not yet happened, but is promised to come. The question this morning, born in love, and asked as a reminder before the church individually and churches collectively everywhere on the first Sunday of Advent is, what is our Advent agenda? 2 days after the appreciation you held for me in September, I underwent a major surgical procedure, followed in less than 3 weeks by a 4th round of a 3-day cycle of chemotherapy. 3 weeks later, I reported to the hospital for a much needed, much anticipated 5th round. And in the midst of my anticipation, God's glory took center stage as I watched a 20-something female tech do her work. If you have heard me tell this story before, please just bear with me because I repeat myself sometimes. This 20-something, don't you just love 20-something-year-olds? Don't they have a walk that you just kind of like, just, hey, the world is mine kind of walk? And don't they have a little smile and perkiness about them that you just love? Well, this tech had this perky little 20-something-year-old look about her, smell about her, flipped her hair. She just had the world. She knew she had the world. It was good to watch her. She did something also very amazing. She was assisting an older woman who was struggling to stay upright, just struggling to manage herself on a very large walker. The older woman, maybe late 70s or early 80s, was bent over, pushing the walker very slowly. And in order for the older woman to get the much-needed exercise she so desperately needed, she needed to be shadowed by another person whose responsibility it was to push her oxygen tank and to push her IV pole at a pace that would be comfortable enough for the older woman to walk. And as she was bent over the walker, and the young woman, in all of her beauty, pushed her, oh, just an amazing sense of the presence of God came over me. It was something that I did not expect to see, but something that I anticipate will always happen for us, that young and old will find a way for the glory of God to shine in our lives. And there in the hospital on the 11th floor of St. Joe, this manifested itself. I got a chance to say to this very young woman that I have been telling your story all over the church. Your ears certainly must be ringing. And she said, no, what story? She said, I'm not feeling very good today. I'm not feeling that I'm very appreciated here. I said, well, may I tell your story one more time? And I want you to know that you are appreciated. And then I got a chance to tell her some other words. You work like one of God's elect. And one day God will send his angels. Isn't that right? And shall gather his elect from the four winds, from the uttermost parts of the earth to the uttermost parts of heaven. Work well and watch. And as I reflected on our text for meditation and the young woman's face, the Lord gave me this word for you. And I invite you to consider the following points for your lives during this Advent season. Point number 1, there will be a second coming. Point number 2, work well for that for which we wait with patience. And point number 3, stay alert and watch.